In this video, I am going to share with you 20 tips to help you boost your student enrollment at your studio. And if you stick with me around until the very end of the video, I am going to share with you a tool to help you identify the biggest areas for growth in your studio. My name is Hervin Alvarez. We own a company called Get More Students, where we help studio owners with increasing enrollment, saving time, reducing workload through marketing and automation. And so if you're a studio owner looking to grow your dance studio, subscribe to the channel. Okay, so with that said, let's dive right into it. 20 tips to help you boost your student enrollment. So number one, you want to make it easy for students to enroll at your studio. This is like the first one, and it's an obvious one, but a lot of studios don't do this. They make it really difficult for students to enroll. So they either have to go on your website, find search around somewhere on your website to find the place where they can actually register. It's not obvious where that is. And then on top of that, they get sent to, when parents want to register, they get sent to a place where they have to now create an account, fill out huge forms, register like liability waiver forms. They have to, if you have a dance studio for kids, the parents need to put their name, their phone number, their email, their kid's name, their kid's birthday, their allergies. They have to put in whatever other information they might have, like fill out liability waiver forms, then put their credit card information, like all of these. It's a big form and a lot of steps, and a lot of parents are busy. They don't want it. They don't have the time to do all of that, or they might not feel, motivated enough to do that. And so you want to make it easy for them. Now, this brings me to the next step, which is some parents may not even want to enroll right away without talking to somebody. They might have a question or something like that before they decide to enroll. So in which case you want to make it easy for people to inquire. Again, when you want to make it easy for people to either call you, find the information that's relevant to them, or get in touch with you to have a conversation so that they can get all of their questions cleared up. A lot of studio owners love the idea of I just put a place on my website where people register, and then I don't have to talk to anybody. They just register on their own. And this is actually, based on my experience, it's not the best idea, because a lot of parents, they might have a question like, hey, I see here ballet on Tuesday, but that doesn't work for me. Okay, this studio does not work for me, so I go and look for something else. Or if you own a dance studio for adults, the same thing. Maybe the students that are looking at your website, they don't know how to get in touch with you. They might not know, do you offer classes for beginners? Do you offer classes, private lessons, or whatever it might be or can they bring 3 friends or something like that? Or do they need to bring a partner if you do partner lessons? So if there is no way for them to get in touch with you easily, they're just going to move on and look to the next place. And so I'm going to share with you here my screen and show you here how easy you can make it for people to inquire at your studio. I'm going to show you here a couple of different websites. So this is one of the studio owners who's working with us. She does dance classes for kids primarily, and she also offers adults dance lessons. But look how easy it is. Before people get even a chance to scroll anywhere, it's right here. New students start here. So super, super simple. People click on this, and now we're getting their information, name, phone number, and email. So you want to make it easy for people to give you their information. Otherwise, they're not going to be able, otherwise they're going to look for somewhere else who's able to help them get in touch quickly. Here's the other thing that most people don't know. A lot of people, whether it's if you do dance studios for kids, then the parents, they don't want to read all this information on your website. They don't want to find this. They just want to get to the information they want. They want the information, in fact, to be spoon-fed to them. They want that quick getting back to them immediately. They don't have that big attention. They don't have a huge attention span. They're ready to move on to the next thing. So they just want things given to them. Same thing if you own an adult dance studio. Students are looking for the information to be given to them. They don't want to search around on your website. Now, that doesn't mean that people don't read. I mean, most don't, but still, you want to make it as easy as possible for the people that don't want to read to be able to inquire about your classes. On top of that, some things that we do for the studio owners that we work with is installed here a chat widget on the website. This actually starts a text message conversation so that people don't have to stay on your website to get to talk to you or talk to somebody. So this is great. This is we find over here things that people ask on this chat widget is, it's funny because they ask like, hey, when is this class? When they could easily go to the place where you have your schedule and find this information out. And let me see here, another website. You can see here the same thing. We have the chat widget. We have here get a free trial. For this one, this studio owner is offering free trials. And then you click it and it immediately takes you to a place where they're getting their name, phone number, and email. Again, so we want to make it easy for people to inquire. Okay? If you make it hard, then you're just not going to get as many new inquiries. And some people are like, well, I only want the people who are really, really interested. I don't want to talk to anybody else. Well, then you're only going to get very little amount of people every single month because there's people that it's not that they're not interested, but they have questions and they want to talk to somebody before they go and fill out this huge registration page on your huge registration form, whether it's on your website or whatever it might be. But the fact that they want to talk to somebody doesn't mean that they're not interested. It just means that they might have a question that's holding them back. And so you want to make yourself accessible. You want to make it easy for them to inquire. Okay, so the next one, advertise. And I know this is not something like, mind-blowing here. This is not like and what I'm going to be sharing with you in this video is not going to be tips that are not, they're going to be pretty obvious for some of you, but for a lot of you are not. Like when I was a dance instructor for many years, or when I had my studio the first year, I didn't realize that I needed to advertise. And I thought that advertising was just a waste of money or that I wasn't going to get a return on it. And it certainly can be a waste of money if you don't do it properly. By the way, if you want to learn how to advertise, subscribe to the channel because I have videos over here that are either on the video or coming up regarding how to set up Facebook ads properly, how to target the right people on Facebook. And actually, those videos are already up, so you might want to check those out. In any case, advertising is the easiest way for you to show up in front of people who don't know you, who would otherwise not find out about you, and get in front of them and tell them about your studio. Is a great way for you to start generating new inquiries if you do it properly. And so watch some of those videos that I have here on the channel about how to set up your Facebook ads properly and advertise, or you can talk to us. We help the studio owners who are working with us set up Facebook and Instagram advertising campaigns that are effective, that are going to target the right people to help you attract new students. And so right there, super simple. Not many people are doing it. Not many studio owners are advertising, or if they are, they're not advertising properly. And so that's another thing that you can do. By the way, the things that I'm going to be sharing with you, when I had my studio, I one time went on Google and I researched for what are tips to help you grow your student base or to help you increase your enrollment. And there was many articles talking about how you needed to, if you wanted to attract more students, you needed to hire passionate teachers, be really passionate, and that kind of thing. I want to give you practical advice that actually you can implement and you could get results. So I don't want to share with you fluffy stuff like you need to be more passionate, because I was extremely passionate and I didn't have as many students until I actually did something like advertising. Okay, so the next step, website SEO. So what does this mean? What is SEO? SEO stands for search engine optimization. And so what is that? This is a way for Google to tell what your website is about. So for a lot of studio owners, when you visit their website In fact, let me see if I can just go on Google right here really quickly. People type in on Google, dance classes or dance studios near me or dance classes for kids near me. They type in things like that, right? So how does Google know which websites to show up in the at the right here at the top of the search results? How does it know who to show up first? And the key is that you on your website need to tell Google, what your website is about. Like, what do I mean? So if you notice here, this is, again, one of the studio owners who was working with us. We helped her with her website, and you can see here what we've done. People type in dance classes for kids near me. You want to have that keyword on your website, dance classes for kids. If people type in dance classes for adults, right? For adults near me, you want to have on your website dance classes for adults. This is going to let Google know, oh, this website is relevant to that search term, right? That's how Google is going to rank your website higher up in the search results, because it's going to see that your website says here dance classes for kids, right? It's going to see that you have the place, the area name, your area name. So whatever the name of your city, the name of your town, just write it on your website so that Google knows, oh, this is a website that's local to this area, right? That is about dance classes for kids. Same thing over here. We have the name of the area here. Dance classes for kids, toddlers and adults in London. Why do I put toddlers? Because, again, some people put in dance classes for toddlers. Notice here, dance classes for kids. That's a keyword. Notice this, dance styles right here, dance, hip hop dance classes for kids, ballet classes for kids. Notice over here, best dance school in London. This is the area name. Dance studio. Notice here where it says dance classes for kids, dance classes for adults. Why is that all written there? It's because you want to let Google know that what your website is about, so that it can help you rank higher up in the search results. So you need to add all those keywords on your website, especially on the homepage, so that your website ranks higher up. Okay? So super, super important. The next step is to add forms to your website. So again, if you notice this is something that I talked about, is to make it easier for you to enroll new students. Right here, when people click on this, we want to send people directly there to that page. If they go somewhere else, like I'll show you here. So if they click on dance programs, for example, this is another studio who we're working with. You could see here immediately, when people are looking through the dance programs, you can see here at the very top. So you don't want to just have the button here at the very top, but you want to have it everywhere on your site. Look, yes, I want a free class, try a free class, or in this, it says new students start here, new start here, new students start here, new students start here, right? So you want to have those everywhere, even on other pages. So if people click dance programs, for example, it's at the very top right here. It's also there, try a free class, try a free class, try a free class. And when people click on that, they go to this page where you're collecting their information. This will help you generate a lot more inquiries if you do that. So if you're sending people on your website to a page where you're collecting their information, super, super important. The next thing is to get more Google reviews. This is huge. So, think about it for yourself. When you go shop around, or when you are looking for a dentist, or when you're looking for a restaurant, you look at reviews, right? So reviews are super important in today's world, and you want to make sure that you are showing up with a lot of reviews on Google specifically. Like Yelp also, it works. It's not as great. You should still have a Yelp page with some reviews, but you should focus primarily your efforts on Google reviews. So Google ranks higher up the businesses that have the highest amount of reviews, right? When we had our studio, I'm going to show you right here, Latin Dance Movement. This used to be, you can see here's a picture of me and my partner dancing. And you can see here where it says Latin Dance Movement, 241 reviews. This helped us rank higher up than everybody around us in our city. We, in fact, had a studio owner who was competing with us. They were like a mile down from us. And everybody would come to us because even though they had been there for longer than we got into town. They were there for many years prior to us coming up. So they knew the market knew them, yet they started going to us because we had those really high Google reviews. So that matters a lot. So you definitely, one of the things that you can do in order to generate more Google reviews is you want to ask people, your current students, to leave you a Google review. So just simply ask them. You don't need to bribe them in any way. You don't need to say, hey, I'll give you a week for free if you give us a 5-star Google reviews. By the way, you want to be careful. You never want to bribe people to leave you a 5-star Google review. You're telling people how many stars to leave you is against the Google policies, the terms of service when it comes to reviews. So you want to avoid that. But you want to simply ask people like, hey, if you had a good, can you please share your experience on Google, and it will help us rank higher on this will help more people find us, rank higher on the search results, and so on. And we would really appreciate it. Like, let people know that you would appreciate a review, incentivize them to do that by, or just ask them. You don't even need it to incentivize. You can also give people like a water bottle or something like that if they leave you a review. Some businesses do that. But you could just simply just ask. That's what we used to do. We had a lot of reviews, higher than anybody, and I would just simply ask. Another thing too is that you might want to just ask right as soon as people enroll. So if you have a new student who just enrolled, after their first class, ask them right there and then, because that's when they're the most excited, right? So if I showed you this studio owner who is working with us, she had 6 reviews when she first started working with us, and now she has 149. Let me show you that again. So she has 149 Google reviews because she asks everybody who as soon as somebody enrolls, she asks them for a review, and you find that you end up getting better reviews anyway. Look right here. Like, hey, Shauna immediately reached out after I inquired about dance classes for my toddlers. She helped find the best classes within our availability, answer every question. We're booked for the summer session. Thanks, Shauna. We're very pleased with our first experience. I wasn't sure if my daughter was going to like it, but she absolutely loved it. Shauna was very helpful and communicative. We did a free trial class. The instructions were very welcoming, right? So these are very good reviews for somebody who's searching around. So you definitely want to ask people as soon as they inquire as soon as they try their first class, and if they enjoyed it, if they enrolled, as soon as they enrolled, you ask them for a Google review, because that's when people are the most excited. That's when they're just at the studio, there's the new thing happening. They're excited about it. They just signed up for something new, so they're more willing to give you a Google review at that point. Okay, so Google reviews. Now let's talk about text blast campaigns. So one of the things that you need to do, if you're not doing already, is you need to have a software that allows you to text blast all your list of past students and leads, people who stopped coming to the studio, who dropped their enrollment, and leads, people who inquire but never registered. And you definitely want to reach out to them at least once a quarter. Just say something along the lines of like, hey, are you so interested in dance? Or say something along the lines of, hey, right now we're doing a free trial. Do you want a free pass or something like that? If you're curious to know, like, the software that we use is Studio Hub. So this is our own platform. Again, this is like self-promotional stuff right here. But our software, where you can import your list of students, you could text blast people. This is one of the things that the studio owners that we're working with, they do, is import their list, text blast their previous students, previous leads. We had a studio owner who had a list of like 2,000 people, and she text blasted all of them. She didn't do it all at once because that would be way too many conversations to have at once, but she did it slowly. And over the course of a month and a half, Doing this, she enrolled 78 students from her previous students who had stopped. Like, she reached out to people who had come to her studio even as far back as 5 years, and that helped her enroll like, yeah, like 78 students in like a month and a half, which is absolutely amazing. So if you have a list of people already, of past students or leads, people who express interest but never actually showed up and enrolled, then definitely text them, use a text blast campaign. And by the way, if you don't have a list of people, you definitely need to start collecting name, phone numbers, and emails of people, because that is like an asset that your business has, so people that you can always reach out to and let them know about your classes. Super, super important. Again, if you want to know how we do it, is we use Studio Hub to keep track of all the leads, keep all of that information. Okay, so do a text blast, hire a marketing company to help you. And again, this is somewhat self-promotional, but also, a lot of studio owners that I speak to, they try to do everything. They think that they need to be the ones choreographing, talking to the parents, doing all of the email marketing themselves, doing all of the advertising, doing like on top of that, like reaching out to all of the leads who are inquiring. They think that they need to like hug all the activities. And when in reality, they're spread so thin that they cannot do, they're just stuck because they don't have the time to move forward to do everything. And so if that is you, if you're a studio owner who, especially if you're doing well, if you already have processes and things in place, and your studio, you have teachers, you have admin who work at your who work the front desk, who work enrollment for you. If you have that already, but you don't have a system, an automation system, or people who are looking after your marketing and making sure that you have the best ads out there, that you're following up with all the leads, that you keep all of that information organized, that you're getting back to people within 1 minute of them inquiring, like all of these things is things that we help with. And so you don't have to do everything yourself. And on top of that, it's much harder to train an employee to actually do the marketing for you properly, where they're like looking at the metrics, know exactly which ads are performing best, what to do with the advertising, how to follow up with all of the new inquiries, how to keep track. Like, this is something that we specialize in, or that other marketing companies out there specialize in. Definitely take a look at whether it's with us or somebody else. You don't need to do it all yourself. And it's much better to do that than to have an employee who also has a million other things to do that they don't, to kind of try and figure it out, sort of wing it, because you're not going to get as good results. Okay, so the next thing, follow up. Following up with people within 1 minute from the moment they inquire. Again, this goes back to people in today's world are busy, forgetful, have a lot going on. If you have a dance studio for kids, you have the parents who have a life, then they have to take care of the kids. They're super busy. If you have a dance studio for adults, people work, they have other things going on. And so you're not anybody's priority. With that said, and people today have a short attention span. So you want to make it a point to, as soon as they inquire, within 1 minute, not within an hour, not within a day, not within a week, within 1 minute of them inquiring, you want to follow up. And again, this is impossible to do if you're doing this manually. You want to do this with every single lead, right? So this is impossible to do if you just have a person doing it. This is why having automation is super important, and why we do what we do. We help set up these automations for you. You want to follow up with people within 1 minute, because that's when they're thinking about it. That's when they're the most interested, right? When they might have seen their kid dancing, and they might be like, oh, this is what little Sally might enjoy. She might enjoy a dance class. Or, for an adult, it might be like they might have been at a party, and the next day they're like, oh, I got to find a dance studio, right? That's when they're the most excited. So you definitely want to follow up with people right away. Get them before they even get a chance to go and find another studio. Find them if you get back to them that quickly, within 1 minute, they probably still have their phone in their hands, which means they're more likely to respond, more likely to communicate back and forth with you. So Answering back to people within 1 minute, super important. It's going to help you increase a lot more students if you do. Okay, the next step, keep track of all your leads, right? So for a lot of studio owners, they have a lot of people inquiring every single month, but they don't know who needs to be followed up with, where people are at. They don't know what has been said to people, and do they want to come in to try a class? Are they ready to be enrolled? They just don't know. And so you need to have a system, and it could easily be just a simple spreadsheet on Google Sheets, on Excel. It could be also a software like Monday, Asana. It could be something like ClickUp, whatever it might be for you to keep track of your leads. Also, we use Studio Hub to keep track of all the leads for the studio owners that we work with. It's a platform where they know exactly who needs to be followed up with, what needs to be said. And so that way people are not falling through the cracks. You need to make sure that you're keeping track of all your leads. The next, consistent follow-up with people who don't respond. If you're not tracking your leads, first of all, you're not going to know who needs to be consistently followed up with. But consistent follow-up is one of the things that is going to help you enroll a lot more students if you do it than if you don't. So a lot of studio owners, when I say you need to consistently follow up with all your new inquiries, and we in our platform, we follow up with every single lead after the initial inquiry for 4 days, once a day, every day for 4 days. And a lot of studio owners ask me, isn't that too much? Isn't that a little bit too aggressive? Won't people get annoyed? And the answer is sure, yeah, some people will get annoyed. And so you're definitely going to lose people because some people do get annoyed. Now, with that said, you also lose people if you don't follow up at all, or if you don't follow up enough. And so you end up losing people either way. I'd rather lose people because I'm following up too much than not following up enough. And so if you're, and on top of that, the people who don't appreciate the fact that you're following up with them, those are not good people that you want at your studio anyway. Those are the people who are going to complain about everything. And so the follow-up is something super, super important. Again, just make sure that you're following up with everybody as soon as they inquire. And then after, if they stop responding to you, you want to follow up with them, at least once a day for at least 4 days. So that's, you can follow up more. Obviously, that's, at least for a week. You could do that. We follow up for 4 days. Now, again, that's just super, super important because otherwise people are going to fall through the cracks. They might have inquired, might have gotten busy. They forgot their phone somewhere and now it's out of their mind. It isn't that they don't want to come in. So a lot of studio owners say like, oh, I don't want to bother people. I don't want to make people think that I'm like a pest or I'm pestering them or like that I'm harassing them or something. This is like, follow-up is super key. It's extremely needed. You're not bothering people. In fact, people inquired about your classes by themselves. It's not like you reached out to them, they inquired. So you're not bothering anybody. In fact, you're doing them a favor by reminding them. And so parents really appreciate that. The right parents really appreciate you reminding them. They might have meant to sign up, but they got busy. But they still, the fact that they're not responding to your message today doesn't mean that they're not interested. Just keep following up with them, at least for a week, so that you can see what happens. And then you can see a lot of times parents are like, oh my God, thank you so much for reminding me. I had forgotten about this. Yes, I want to sign up. Or the same thing happens to studio owners who have adult studios. People get busy, they inquire, and then they forget. That doesn't mean that they're no longer interested. They forget. And so you need to remind them, follow up consistently with people. By the way, if you're enjoying the tips, subscribe to the channel. And also, the things that I'm sharing with you are obviously things that might be common sense. These are things that I don't see many studio owners do. And, again, I didn't want to share. I'm sharing with you the real things that actually make a difference. The things that we have seen in our company make the biggest difference. If you were hoping for a video that's like, if you want to get more students, then you need to, put some signs. Put some better lighting in your studio that has more colorful so that when people walk in, they see how colorful your studio is. That's not the type of content that I put out. These are things that I have seen with the studio owners that we're working with. that are working. These are the real things that are going to help you attract more students. Okay, so next, if you offer free trial classes, send reminders to people to show up. Okay, so again, people get busy, they forget. If you own a dance studio for kids, you want to remind the parents. Again, parents get busy, they double book themselves. You want to remind parents to show up. If you offer free trial classes at your studio, you want to remind people to show up for their trials. Because it's free, they're less committed, so they're more likely to just say, oh, you know what, I'm not going to make it, or whatever it is. So you want to send reminders to get people to show up. How many reminders should you send? So what we do in our company, this is what we found to work best as of today: the day before the trial, the morning of the trial, 1 hour before the trial. Okay, the day before, the morning of, 1 hour before. Same thing for adults. If you own an adult dance studio, the day before the trial, the morning of the trial, 1 hour before the trial, to remind people to show up. And you can, it doesn't need to be aggressive. Don't make it sound like, one of those automated messages like, hey, just a reminder, today you have an appointment at this time. You can make it friendly, like, hey, just super excited to see you today. Looking forward to meeting you in person, or something like that. Or hey, by the way, here's where you park. See you in 1 hour. Here's a picture of the building. Here's what it looks like. Things like that will help you get more people to show up. It seems personable. It seems like you really care. I can tell you a quick story. So when I was looking for a dentist not too long ago, like a few months ago, I searched around. I found 2 dentist places, and one, when I inquired, that was pretty much it. I inquired, I made an appointment, that was pretty much it. Like, they told me, see you on Tuesday and next week, and I never heard back from them until I actually showed up. And I was kind of thinking, man, I haven't heard back from these people. Is my appointment still on? Are they going to cancel on me when I show up over there, tell me that, my appointment has been canceled, or something like that? That was not, like, from a consumer standpoint, it wasn't a great experience, as opposed to this other dentist practice that I went to. That when I talked to them over the phone, I said, hey, make me an appointment for this time. The day before, they had sent me a few messages telling me, what to expect before I showed up. The morning, they were like, hey, good morning, we're super excited, we can't wait to make you smile, or whatever it was. Something a little bit cheesy, but it was fun. And then 1 hour before, they're like, hey, here's where you want to drive to. So this is really good customer experience, because from my end, I'm like, man, these people are professionals. They really care. They want me to have a good experience even before I show up. And so, yeah, it just seemed like they were more on top of it than the other business. And so that really makes a difference. Those reminders gets people to show up. Okay, next, you want to automate your follow-up reminders. So all of these reminders that I'm telling you, they can be automated, and this is what Studio Hub does. It sends those automated reminders. We program that for you. You don't need to program it yourself. And that automation is going to help you save time, so that you don't forget to do it, or so that your team doesn't forget to do it, or so that there's no human error involved. With you automating those reminders, you can for sure count on them showing up. Okay, so automation all the way if you're looking to save time, reduce workload, and have it be consistent, as opposed to having a person that might forget to do it. And so anyway, automation, use text messaging. So text messaging in today's world is super important. This is how people communicate today. I did a little research on Google, and you could Google this yourself. Type in like average phone call going to voicemail, or something like that, and it's like 60 to 80% of the phone calls that you make go to voicemail. So if you've ever gotten leads and try calling them and they don't pick up, that's why 60 to 80% of the phone calls. People don't like picking up phone numbers that they don't recognize. Emails open rate is like 20%, 23% on average. And so if you send emails, then you're going to have a lot of people that are not going to see your email. On top of that, sometimes they go to junk box, they go to spam. And so you cannot control that. Text messaging is like 98% of people open up and read their text messages. And so it's the number one way people communicate today. Super important. If you're not using text message, find yourself a platform that allows you to text. Again, this is something that Studio Hub does. It allows you to communicate back and forth with the people. And so, yeah, find yourself a way that you can do two-way text messaging and that it actually looks like a real phone number, not like one of those fake, like, 4-digit phone numbers or something like that. You want something that it looks real, looks like a phone number that you can talk through two-way back and forth. And so, yeah, that's what Studio Hub does. But yeah, if you don't want to go with Studio Hub, find a text messaging platform. Okay. Call anybody who inquires. And although I just said that calls go to voicemail, you still want to do it. Why? Because getting people on the phone and giving people that personal touch, this is for a lot of people, this still matters a lot. The younger people on one end, they don't like talking on the phone. But if you're talking to a grandparent, if you're talking to an older parent, they appreciate people getting on the phone, and they appreciate the fact that they can tell you what they want, what they're thinking, answer the questions right there over the phone. Getting on a phone call is super important. Highly, highly recommend that you call your leads. Again, you could use just text message, and that's fine. That's a lot of the studio owners, like 90% of the studio owners or 98% of the studio owners that we're working with, they only communicate through text. We have a few that do call, and they get good results. And so, yeah, calling, again, it's one of those tools. It's another tool in the toolbox. It still works, but it doesn't work as well as text. But it does, when you get people on the phone, that personal touch is better than over text. So still worth it. And if you are going to do phone calls, have a phone script for your staff members who are doing the phone calls, or if you're doing it for yourself, have a little script so that you know exactly what to say, what to do, so that you're not just winging it on the call, because a lot of people don't like calling because they don't know what to say. And so having a script there in place is going to help you do that. So definitely make a script there. Another tip, have a newsletter for leads. What is a newsletter? So a newsletter is like an email campaign that you send out. It could be a weekly thing. It could be bi-weekly, where you're sending it 2 times a week, every other week, once a month, whatever it is. Just a way for you to communicate with leads, letting them know what's cool about your studio, letting them know about success stories from some of your students, meaning like, if you had a kid who went to college and graduated because they went to your studio, got a scholarship, or if you own a dance studio for adults, letting them know about parties about your students have attended, sending them pictures, just newsletters, things to let people know the cool things that are going on in your studio. If you need help writing these, because they do take time, I have a video on the YouTube channel that shows you how to use artificial intelligence to do this, to get those. You see here where it says how we use automations for dance studios. You can chat with ChatGPT. If you don't know about ChatGPT, definitely got to watch that video that I'm saying here, because you could have a robot write your emails within like 5 seconds, and you can ask them to write you a newsletter for your studio. You could tell them all the cool things that have been going on, and it would write it, and it would sound awesome. Definitely take advantage of the AIs to write your emails, because it's super, super useful. Okay, and also take the time to subscribe to the channel. All right, so the next is have a script out your sales process. This is a tip for when it comes to enrollment, when people actually show up to your studio. So a lot of times, let's go back here a second. So a lot of studio owners, their main struggle is that they're not getting enough people inquiring about their classes. For some other studio owners, it might be their main struggle is they do have people inquiring, but it might be getting them to show up is what they're struggling with. For other studio owners, is they do have a lot of people showing up, but they're not enrolling as many people, and so. And for a lot of studio owners that I speak to, they think like, oh, I enroll every single person who walks in through the door. Yeah, but if you're only getting 6 inquiries a month, yeah, and they're probably your most interested inquiries. A lot of studio owners that I speak to, it's like, oh, I enroll every single inquiry that I get. the thing is, it's like if you don't have if like the only way to enroll is like searching on your website for that hidden place where you have your registration form, and that's like the only way for people to register. Yeah, only the most interested people are gonna fill out that information and are gonna show up and actually enroll. So if you have somebody who's very interested, you don't need to be great at sales to get them to enroll. And so the problem is like once you start generating a lot more inquiries, when you start to advertise, when you have those forms on your website, when your Google reviews go up and more people are inquiring, that's when you start generating a lot more inquiries. That's when you are going to need to have a sales process that is scripted out, right? So that when new parents come in, your team know exactly what to say, what questions to ask, how to overcome their objections, how to ask for the sale, how to ask people to enroll, how to upsell them so that you offer so that they enroll not just for one class, but for multiple classes a week. Like you need to have all of that scripted out. And if you're a studio owner and you're doing sales yourself and you want to get out of doing sales yourself, if you want somebody else to do that for you so that you don't have to always be at the dance studio, or so that, in case you ever get sick or want to take a vacation, the enrollment doesn't go down the drain, you definitely want to have a scripted sales process out so that you can delegate it to somebody. Super, super important. And what I mean is like literally write down, how do you greet people? What questions do you ask? How do you present the packages? How do you present the payment options? How do you like motivate them to sign up? How do you ask for the sale? All these things need to be written out. Okay. Yeah, super important. Then another thing that you can do is give people an incentive to sign up on the day of their trial. So when people come in, you want to have, this is not mandatory, but like 80% of the studios that we're working with or more are doing this, and they end up getting better results because of it, which is to have a simple offer or a gift or something for people to incentivize people to sign up on the day that they come in. It is much harder to enroll people after they've left your studio. It is a lot easier to enroll them when they are at your studio because they just experienced your dance classes. They saw how amazing the environment is. They get to talk to you. You have them face to face. You can answer their questions. You can get feedback from them. Whereas like when they're out of the studio, they're how they feel about your studio goes down because they're no longer there. They don't get to see the fun environment. They don't get to talk to you. They might get busy. They don't have time to chat back and forth with you so that you can answer their questions. It's so much easier to do it when you have them in front of you. And so you want to have some sort of some sort of incentive. So like you can say waive a registration fee. And if you don't offer a registration fee, if you don't have that at your studio, you might want to include a registration fee so that you can say, if you sign up today, we can waive your registration fee, or you could get half off the registration fee if you sign up today. Or you could say you could get a bag and a tutu if you sign up today, or a bag and a water bottle, or a t-shirt, or whatever it might be. Just something, the better the incentive, the more people are going to sign up on the day of. And if you don't have an incentive, then you're not giving people an incentive. If you're not giving people an incentive, then there's no reason for them to sign up on the day of. If it doesn't matter if they sign up today or if they sign up next week, then people are going to sign up whenever they want. And so, yeah, having an incentive, super key. It's going to help you a lot if you have one. Okay. Follow up with anybody who doesn't enroll on the day of their trial. Again, so you could have the incentives, but even then, some people are not going to enroll right there. You definitely want to follow up with anybody who doesn't enroll when they're at your studio. Maybe send them even a text message at the end of the night, like, hey, we really enjoyed having you today. Did you want to move forward and take advantage of the incentive that we have for signing up today? Or, hey, can I answer any questions? Do you want to move forward and enroll with us? You can call them the next day and have a little script of a sales call that you can do, something along the lines of like, hey, wanted to call in, say thank you so much for coming in yesterday. We really enjoyed having you. Saw that little Sally was doing amazing in class, wanted to answer any questions, and wanted to ask you if you wanted to move forward and enroll with us today. People know why you're calling. It isn't a surprise. They know that you want them to enroll, and so you don't have to hide it. You could just ask them on the call, like, hey, just wanted to see if you wanted to enroll and move forward with us today. And if they are, take the payment over the phone, write down their credit card information, and then charge them. But you're going to get a lot more people if you have a follow-up process like that, where you're following up with anybody who doesn't enroll the day of their trial. It's going to help you if you do it. You're going to enroll a lot more students if you have a follow-up process. Okay, so make sure that you have one. Make sure that you enroll. You ask people, you follow up with people who don't enroll on the date of the trial. Ask them to enroll later, whether it's through text, through phone calls. But I would do both. I would do a phone call and a text at the end of the night. First start with a text and then with a phone call. Or backwards, I'm sorry. First start with a call, and if they don't pick up, send them a text. And then the next day, do the same thing. Start with a call, and then if they don't pick up, text them. It could feel uncomfortable. Give yourself a little script. Know that some people are going to say no. That's totally okay. In fact, like if it makes it easy for yourself, just call with the expectation that they're going to say no, and you just like go through it anyway, because you'll find out that a lot of people are just going to say like, hey, you know what? Yeah, we're ready to enroll. And so, yeah, call everybody, ask them to enroll if they didn't sign up on the day of their trial or the day they came in. Okay, the last one is to hire a salesperson. Okay, so this is I'll keep this short. A lot of studio owners, when it comes to their enrollment, they leave it up to the front desk person, and the front desk person is usually like a teenager who's either taking lessons at the studio or like a teenager or like a sweet person but they're not really like an aggressive salesperson. And it's not like you want like a used car salesman to be at the front desk trying to enroll people aggressively, but you definitely want somebody who's going to, not just take the first no for an answer and just say like, okay, well, if you want to enroll, like, just let us know at some point in the future. We'll always be here for you. You don't want that. You want somebody who's going to be a little bit more assertive, who's going to want to ask for the sale, somebody who's motivated by money. Having somebody who's motivated by money it's actually super important for you, because that's how you're going to have somebody who's going to want to help you win. Because if you win, they win. If you enroll the students, they also get, how you pay them. You might want to give them a little commission, $5-10 for a student who enrolls, something like that. Just somebody who's going to want to sign up more people for you, who's going to want to do the follow-up, who's going to want to follow up with all the leads that you're getting. Having a salesperson is so much better. Somebody who's actually been trained in sales, feels amazing when they enroll a new student, not somebody who's going to passively sit there waiting for people to ask them questions and hoping that people ask them to enroll. That's not the kind of person you want. You want somebody who is going to want to sign people up and going to be assertive about it. Okay? Doesn't mean they're going to put a lot of pressure on people, but they're going to want to ask people to sign up. Okay, so that's what you want. You want a salesperson doing sales for you. You don't want to have like a passive teenager or a passive person sitting on the desk waiting for people, just like hoping that people ask to enroll. That's not who you want. Okay, and the most important tip of all is for you to subscribe to the YouTube channel, because we put out here content that is going to help you with increasing enrollment. And so definitely do that. And here's a bonus for watching until the very end of the video. You want to use this tool to find areas for growth at your studio. So this is the simple tool right here. Let me see if I'm sharing my screen. Yes, I am. Okay, so this 3 boxes right here is going to let you know where the biggest opportunities are for growth at your studio. So the L stands for leads. So, do you have a consistent way to generate new inquiries, new leads every single month? Do you have advertising in place? Do you have your website set up properly to help you get more leads? Do you have Google reviews already? A lot of Google reviews. If you don't, this is the first place to look for. This is the first place where you would start working on to help you with increasing enrollment. Setting up advertising, finding a marketing agency to help you set up advertisings, or learning how to set up the Facebook ads yourself by watching videos here in our YouTube channel. You can see here that I have a video called How to Set Up Facebook and Instagram Advertisings for Dance Studios. You can watch that and learn how to set them up, but find a way to generate new inquiries consistently without it requiring so much of your time. Like a lot of studio owners are like, well, we do events, we do like charity events, we do performances and things like that. We outreach it to our community. We show up at parades. This takes a lot of time and you don't end up getting many students. Whereas advertising, once you learn it, if you do it properly, it doesn't take that much extra time from you, but it generates really amazing results. Same thing. If you learn how to fix your website properly, then you're going to have consistently new leads every single month. Okay, so this is the first place where if you would like rate yourself from 1 through 10, am I generating new inquiries every single month? And if the answer is like no, the like 2 out of 10, then start here. The next place is getting those leads who inquire to show up. How are you doing there? Do you have a follow-up system in place? Are you keeping track of all your leads? Do you do automated reminders to get people to show up for their trials? Are you communicating through text? Are you doing the newsletters? Are you following up with leads who stop responding to you for multiple days to prevent them from falling through the cracks? How is your follow-up process? And you might say like, well, I have a system, but it's not that great. It requires a lot of my team to put in a lot of effort to work the system. Well, that's going to hold you back. And so if you don't have automation to help you do a lot of this, to follow up with people within 1 minute of them inquiring and so on, then it's not going to be as effective. People are going to fall through the cracks. There's going to be human error. And so make sure that you have a system in place to get people to show up. Again, rate yourself from 1 through 10 in this area. You might have already a lot of systems, but it might not be a 10. And you might be at a 6. You might be at a 5. You might be even at a 7. To get to a 10, that'll help you get more people to enroll if you improve your follow-up systems. And then your enrollment process. Do you have a salesperson hired? Do you have your enrollments? Do you have sales scripts scripted out, like your sales process scripted out to the detail with the questions to ask, how do you greet people, with the offer? Do you have an offer in place that you give people as an incentive for them signing up right away? These are the things that matter a lot, that are going to help you increase your enrollment when people show up. Rate yourself again. Do I have a scripted sales process in place? Am I the person doing the sales? What happens if I get sick or if I want to take vacations? Is the enrollment going to plummet? Then that would be like a 3 out of 10. Then work on this to help you increase enrollment. Okay? So this is a simple tool to identify what areas of your business, of your dance studio is a business, and you got to treat it like a business. Use this tool to identify what are the areas that you need to work on. And if you want to, we can help you fix all of these areas with you. And oftentimes, like with the follow-up process, we'll even fix it for you. And so if you want to work with us, go to our website, getmorestudents.com. Check out our success stories. So let me show you here, getmorestudents.com. Check out our success stories from the studio owners that we're working with. Watch these videos. You can see there, and even like look for them. These are real studio owners. And yeah, you can also schedule a call here. You can schedule a call on our homepage, where you can sit with us. We can tell you about our program, how we can help you. So if you're interested in that, go there. And again, one more time, subscribe to the channel. Check out other of our YouTube videos, because we have a lot of information here that could potentially help you with increasing enrollment. If you know anybody who needs help, if you know a dance studio owner who needs help, or any business owner that might benefit from watching this video, send them over to them. Really appreciate you taking the time to watch the video. So again, want to say thank you. Watch the other videos inside the YouTube channel, and I'll look forward to seeing you there. Awesome. Well, good luck to everybody. See you in the next video. Bye.